Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. The WWE had one job to do when they have a go-home show to build up a pay-per-view, and they didn't decide to go with the traditional route, which is booking wrestling matches that you care about, booking storyline angles that make sense and that are intriguing and make the viewer engaged in the show that they're watching. Instead, they're banking on you caring about the fact that they're going to have laser beams, and they're going to have drones flying in the air, and there's going to be a video wall full of video fans that are going to be there live somehow in the world's biggest Skype call on every single WWE show from here on out. And that is certainly not enough to get me excited, and I know it's not enough for you. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Monday Night Raw review, and we are going to talk about everything wrong with this piece of crap show, starting right now, only on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, right here on Sledgehammer TV. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
A 3-hour-long poop hammer-worthy show. There was not one redeeming thing on this whole entire episode. From start to finish, this episode of Monday Night Raw was a joke. And I say that in all seriousness, because you can't tell me that they did what they did tonight on the show and that they actually care about their programming. There were 8 wrestling matches. We're not talking about the Raw Underground because that shit just doesn't count. But there were 8 actual wrestling matches booked on this show. This 3-hour circus of a show, and only 2 of those matches were about 10 minutes long, and the rest of those matches, 6 of those 8 matches, went less than 4 minutes. And in the 6-man tag team match, the elimination tag team match, that one happened to go about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more if I'm being generous, but within the first minute, let's be generous, let's say within the first 2 minutes of this 6-man tag, you had Mustafa Ali and Ricochet buried in the beginning of this matchup, eliminated in less than 2 minutes without taking barely any offense, all to put over the Hurt Locker business. Why do they need to be put over? There are ways to put over talent. It doesn't include squashing them like glorified jobbers. Mustafa Ali and Ricochet are way too good. These 2 guys should be embroiled in a feud against each other for a mid-card title. It's definitely not the, hey, look at me, I'm a clown, I don't give a shit, 24/7 avocado-colored gold-plated belt that seems to be getting a lot of play right now. That belt changed hands 3 times tonight. And it ended up back in the hands of Shelton Benjamin, who actually lost 3 times tonight. Shelton Benjamin was pinned on 3 separate occasions on this one episode of Monday Night Raw, yet he walks out a champion. I know it's a useless championship. It's pretty much a toy. It doesn't mean anything. It has 0 value, 0 prestige. But after losing, getting your shoulders pinned to the mat 3 times on the same episode, in matches that went less than about 3 minutes with the exception of 1, and I'm supposed to care that Shelton Benjamin is the 24/7 champion? You're not supposed to care because it's stupid. They think you're going to care. Just like they think you're going to care about the Thunderdome. Are you serious? You're going back to a 1980s Road Warrior Mad Max movie for inspiration. You couldn't even come up with something original and unique and different, something more with the times now. No, we're so stuck in the 80s and so stuck in what was cool back then that we gotta call this the Thunderdome. That's not cheesy at all. It's not at all cheesy. But that's WWE's MO. They live in a sea of cheese and they just don't care. There is 0 care on this show. Do you realize that in the main event segment, we had the hillbilly bad kid come out. I don't mean that as disrespect. I'm just trying to be funny. I love HBK. We all love HBK. All right? But he comes out there tonight to do what we all knew was going to happen. He was going to get attacked and punted in the head by Randy Orton. Punted in the head by Randy Orton. This is a move that debilitates any and everybody that it is hit with. It is more devastating than the RKO out of nowhere. And Shawn Michaels gets hit with the punt from Randy Orton, as we all assumed he would, at the end of Monday Night Raw, and he's getting up. He's getting up. 50-year-old Shawn Michaels, who hasn't had a match in God knows how many years, is the only man that I have seen get punted in the head by the Legend Killer, and he's getting up. And he's conscious. And he's talking to Drew McIntyre. Even Ric Flair had the frame of mind to stay down. Whether or not it was a work. Whether or not they're all, playing us, Rick and Randy. He knew when you get punted, you lay there like you're dead. But I guess HBK forgot the rules. Maybe he's been out of the ring too long. He forgot how to sell. You just killed the punt. And at the same time, then you have Randy Orton attacking Drew McIntyre, all in regular, predictable fashion. Drew McIntyre gets RKO'd to end tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, and we're supposed to give a shit about this match between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam, when it really has nothing to do with anything to do with Drew McIntyre, rather. It's all about Randy Orton. Randy Orton's kicking the hell out of everybody. He got rid of the Big Show for us. He punt-kicked Christian in the head. He's punt-kicking everybody. He's back to being a Legend Killer. That's the story here. And Drew McIntyre's getting lost in the shuffle. You know who else got lost in the shuffle? Mickie James. We talked about Mickie James last week. She showed back up on Monday Night Raw after a long absence, recovering from an injury. She gets her first match tonight, back on Monday Night Raw. That might not be something to be really excited about, but Mickie James is a legend in the business. She is certainly a future Hall of Famer, and they're putting her in the ring with Natalya tonight. They're trying to build this angle. Okay, fine. Fine, because I'm thinking at the very least, Mickie James, good wrestler. Natalya, great wrestler. Bad promo, but great wrestler. And these two girls could go out there and put on a match, I'm thinking. So of all the things that they were going to throw at me tonight, this is the thing I was like, all right, well, this might be a surprise. This might be something that we can get into. We got two veteran ladies in there. They should give them some respect, right? Wrong. Wrong. You know what happened? We had all night long, we had to listen to that whiny, pathetic Messiah man bun wearing lunatic just whining and crying about everything all night long. Why my Mysterio and this and that, coming out confronting Samoa Joe during the women's match. And the idiots focus the camera on the jackass with the man bun talking to Samoa Joe, instead of focusing on the action in the ring where the two girls are in there performing. You know, every time you step in a wrestling ring, you're risking your life. That is a fact. You're risking your health. And they're going out there and doing it for nothing. It's bad enough they got to do it in front of the Performance Center. Now they're doing it mainly for the crowd, the audience at home, for the cameras. But instead, they're getting overshadowed so that Seth Rollins can come out and whine and cry and, Joe, what do you know? How do you know Rey Mysterio's here, Joe? Are you shitting me? It wasn't bad enough that we had to hear him whining and crying at the beginning of the show to Drew McIntyre. You're not a leader, Drew McIntyre. I showed you how to be a champion, Drew McIntyre. How? How did you show Drew McIntyre anything? You didn't show him shit. Your character is garbage. It makes no sense. We still have no idea what the greater good is. But they had no problem showing us Seth Rollins just wang, wang, wang all night long. From the beginning of the show to the recap of everything he had to say, throughout this whole Rey Mysterio nonsense. And then even when Rey Mysterio and Dominic come out there to confront, then we got to hear him again coming out here. Oh, what are you going to do, Rey? Blah, blah, blah. And then this guy gets his ass beat by Rey Mysterio and Dominic because Dominic went and got 2 kendo sticks, attacked Seth Rollins from behind. Now, to me, here is where Rey Mysterio is somewhat of a failure as a father. And this is not disrespect in any way. This is just simple logic. If this was me, and that was my boy, and the giant babyface man son is my boy, and I am a wrestling legend, and I'm going in there to get vengeance on a guy that just tattooed my boy the way I seen Dominic Mysterio tattooed last week with that kendo stick, you know what the first thing I'm doing to Seth Rollins is? I'm taking his fucking shirt off. That's what I'm doing. Not to be all sexy or whatever, but to whip his ass. You want to talk about receipts? Did you see what that boy looked like? We showed you the picture last week on the show. He's how old, right? That was his first ever WWE appearance. He got lit up like the 4th of July. And you can't take a proper receipt? Oh, he'll get his vengeance in the street fight. Yeah, so what? So what? This was the moment. This was the moment for Rey and Dominic to get some sort of comeuppance, and this guy wouldn't even take his shirt off. Is that because Seth Rollins wouldn't do it? He needed that little bit of shirt to give some sort of padding because he didn't want to get the marks on his thing for his sexy Becky? Why? That is so asinine to me. Talking about eye for an eye, Rey. Right? You want to do eye for an eye? Do what the guy did to your boy. Beat his ass. Beat it worse. Make him pay. Don't let him get away with it like that. Sure, he got a couple of licks in there. I'm sure he's a little bruised up. But it was nothing compared to what he put that kid through. Nothing. Just lapse in logic all night long. Like the whole, oh, well, we've got video footage of Zelina Vega actually poisoning the cup. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. The clip that they showed, right, this mysterious videotape that found its way into the hands of Samoa Joe that he then gave to Angelo Dawkins, who then showed it to Montez and showed it to Bianca, and they came up with this dumbass plan to get back at Zelina Vega and the Sexy Boys. All night long, these guys are clowning around, right? Angelo Dawkins, he's smiling. He's like, yeah, I got the scoop, yeah. And apparently Montez Ford is hiding in the back all day with Bianca Belair, but when Montez Ford shows up, he doesn't seem to be angry about anything. You were just poisoned. You were led to believe that it was Zelina Vega. And you're not pissed? You're coming out dancing around like a jerk-off? What is going on with these guys? Don't they understand what emotions are all about? Why are you going out there dancing like it's party time? You should be making a beeline towards the ring to beat the snot out of these guys. And then to make it even worse, the segment that showed Zelina Vega near the cup is not incriminating. Is it suspicious that she's standing in the back by the drink cup? Of course it's suspicious. But you didn't show anything. If you're going to film these things, then at least do it right. You should have had on camera her with an eyedropper or something, dropping a pill in there. You didn't see anything. The girl standing in front of it, looks around, does nothing to it, and walks away. The cup was sitting next to Baron Corbin's crown and a couple other things on the little equipment box that was there. She could have just as easily been contemplating stealing Baron Corbin's crown. And then all of a sudden somebody showed up and she had to run away. This was not incriminating. It puts her at the scene, it puts her near the cup, but it does not prove any guilt no matter what. She didn't put anything in the cup. And that is a failure of WWE production that is unforgivable. If this, in fact, is the story, and Zelina Vega is guilty, she was the guilty party, then when you filmed this, you fucked everything up. Because it didn't look like she did anything. And you got everybody on social media and everybody talking about, oh, well, she did it. She's guilty. Are you watching what I'm watching? Just because she's standing near the cup does not mean she did anything to it. That's what I see. But you guys see what the WWE wants you to see. Oh, well, she's by the cup. She did it. She did it. What did she do? Did she pee in the cup and then put it back on there? Did she put some Visine in the cup to make him take a shit all night long? Did she put actual poison in the cup? Maybe a little drop of arsenic? We'll never know. They didn't even show her, like, drop something or look to be even going near the cup. She's just standing there. She's just standing there. Suspicious? Yes. Incriminating? Proof of guilt? No. No, it is not. This Monday Night Raw was full of useless shit like this, and you had just all this over amount of talking and the worry and the scare. Oh, we're so scared for Retribution. Oh my God. You know what Retribution did tonight? Do you know what Retribution did tonight? Let me tell you.
Nothing! You've done nothing! Nothing!
They didn't do shit. They showed up in a production truck that had nothing going on. If you looked on the screens, all the screens were pretty much blank. They're throwing around equipment. They're telling them to shut off the feed, that they're going to take over Monday Night Raw, right? We're going to shut it off, shut it off, shut it off. And then they shut the feed. They go to commercial. We come back, and Retribution's just gone. They let the rest of the show go on without incident. They apparently didn't care about their mission to destroy the WWE anymore. I thought they wanted to stop the show. As soon as the show went back on the air, shouldn't they have been back on the attack? This is Retribution. This is what they're for, right? Who gives a crap about this? At this point, the longer this goes on, the less I'm going to care. You could have it be CM Punk underneath one of them hoods when the reveal is made, and everything that you have done leading up to it will make it just seem even more nonsensical. This is for what? This is for what? There's a couple of great ideas out there on how they can make this work, but the longer they wait until they do the reveal, and the more they do this hokey, 6-year-old bullshit writing segments that they're doing for Retribution, I don't care. And I don't think half of you guys do either. I'm sure some of you guys think it's cool. I don't know why. I think you're just desperate to like wrestling again. So here's something new. Here's something different. Let me try to enjoy this until they ruin it. It's already ruined. It's already ruined. 1 week there's 5 members. Last week there were 12 members. Now we don't know how many there were. They didn't show. They're growing. They're shrinking. There's females. There's males. It's changing by the week. Instead of trying to pop a rating and do something interesting on the fly, why don't you sit down, hash it out, know who's going to be in the faction, know who you're going to need on TV, make the segments happen that matter and mean something, make it more meaningful, make me care. Don't just show me a bunch of clowns doing a bunch of high school pranks, breaking windows, setting shit on fire. They came into SmackDown. The worst thing they did was take a chainsaw to the ropes. They didn't even destroy the ring. They didn't destroy the set. They didn't break down the plexiglass. They didn't flip over the announce table. They didn't do anything. They snapped the ring ropes and were like, yeah, we did it. What did you do? What did you do? SmackDown was back up and running next week. They got spare ropes. You don't think they got other ropes to keep the show going, you nitwits? None of it makes sense. Looking at it in a character standpoint, when you see how they make these characters act, and you see what they make these characters do, and what they write for these guys, it's very easy to tell you that Monday Night Raw is the worst written television program on the planet. Maybe in the history of television. And there's been some really bad shows. Like that 80s show. That was a terrible show. Had some good stars on it, but terrible show. Monday Night Raw is worse than that. I don't understand how they think they can just keep giving us the same shit over and over and over again, and how they can give us 3 segments with Seth Rollins just wah, 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 and 4 segments with MVP talking, and talking and talking, and then trying to get Cedric to join the Hurt Locker, and then doing all this other crap that he shouldn't be doing. All he should be doing is being a manager. He should not be involved in a feud for the United States Championship. And of course, how does the WWE get you interested in this? They book a retarded 6-man match that doesn't make sense. They bury 2 guys that are in it, and then they have the champ lose. And the champ gets beaten by Bobby Lashley, who's not even the guy he's going up against. He's the guy he should be fighting. But no, we're going to have MVP in there, because just like the Thunderdome and just like Shawn Michaels, MVP is a name from back in the day, and that's what's going to bring people back to the show. We're going to steal the Mad Max Thunderdome. That'll get people interested. We're going to put lasers in the crowd. We're going to have drones flying around like we haven't seen that already. AEW did that first too now. Who cares? It doesn't matter how you dress up this show. You could take a lump of shit and spray paint it 14 karat gold. At the end of the day, it's still going to be a lump of shit. Just because it looks a little nicer doesn't take away from the fact that it is shit. That's what wrestling is like now. It's like a golden plated turd. Because everything looks good in the Thunderdome. We're going to have all this state-of-the-art fan interaction. And that's why that's what they're pushing. That's what they're telling you. It's going to debut live on SmackDown this Friday. And I can't wait to bring the hammer down on this ridiculousness. I'm going to put it in an application to be on one of them screens. I just want to see if I'm going to get through the cracks. Imagine seeing my face in the crowd, wearing a Sledgehammer Wrestling Show mask. You think I won't? I definitely will, and you can too if you go down to teespring.com/stores/sledgehammer-TV. Get your official Sledgehammer Wrestling Show face mask. Protect yourself and protect others from the threat of the COVID, from the threat of bad breath and body odor and anything else that you don't want going up and into your nose and mouth. This is the way to do it. You got the hammer on the front to keep you safe and to keep everything away and to scare the shit out of any germs that come your way. Get your official Sledgehammer Wrestling Show mask now available at the Teespring store. Link will be in the description below. Thank you. That was a segue, was it not? I wasn't planning on it, but it just happened to go that route, so we gave you guys that little ad spot. Hopefully, you guys went and picked up yours. I know some of you did. You look great in them. All of you that sent me your pictures so far. And boy, what a way to celebrate our 4th anniversary. I actually wanted to kick off this show talking about it, but Raw got me so angry. And I figure at this point in the show, 23 minutes, all of the casual assholes that are going to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about have already hit the bricks, and that the rest of you guys watching right now are the true sledgeheads of this channel. We're 4 years old today, you guys. It was August 17th, 4 years ago, we sat here and recorded our first review, and I believe it was of SummerSlam, which is why the summer and this time of year is always special. We are entering year number 5, starting today, and it's all because of you guys. We are almost at 3,000 subscribers. I was hoping by year 4 we would be much bigger than this, but that does not mean that I am ungrateful for the guys and ladies that have jumped on and have been part of this show with me. You guys make me sit here and watch this crap, because I feel like it's my job to have you guys entertained after Monday night. Because I know, just like me, after sitting through that 3-hour shitstorm, that you've just had it and you don't want to even watch wrestling anymore, just like me. So we gather here together and we raise our hammers and we bring them down hard. And we laugh and we make jokes and we hope for the best. We always sit down at the start of every show and we hope for the best, and you don't believe that they're going to make it worse and worse and worse by the show. But it's been happening. It's been happening. 2020 is not only the worst year for all of us collectively, it has been the worst year for pro wrestling. Not just because there's no fans, not just because they can't travel the world and do shows, but because apparently it has made the old man and his crew lose their mind even more. They're so desperate to get those ratings back up that they went to the Amway Center, they cut this $450,000 deal, and we're going to be seeing it from there from now on until things get back to normal, hopefully soon. And it's just the Thunderdome now. More like Blunderdome. Alright, so get ready for that. It's coming for you on Friday. We are going to talk about WWE SmackDown in the Blunderdome because they can't do anything that isn't nothing more than a blunder. Let's go up and down this bullshit card and get this review over with so I could do something better with my time, and so can you. Like we said, the show started off with the whole Retribution thing. Oh my God, I almost forgot to talk about the Underground. Oh, the Underground and Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax having a little face-off. Can I tell you that my heart was in my throat when Nia Jax showed up in the Underground and was in there facing Shayna Baszler? I'm not worried about them fighting. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about Nia Jax murdering Shayna Baszler. And not in a cool, like, TV scripted kind of way, but, you know, because she hurts everybody she comes in contact with. And now you're going to put her in this shoot scenario. Man, I was fearing for Shayna Baszler's life in that moment. Other than that, in the Underground, you can bury the Viking Raider, Warrior Raider Raiders. You couldn't dig the hole any deeper. We've seen Dolph Ziggler tap out Eric. This is a guy 2 times Ziggler's size. Dolph Ziggler has been a perennial loser in the WWE. He barely even belongs there anymore. He's just such a waste of time and space at this point. The Dolph Ziggler character is worthless. And he's going out there and choking out guys that are twice. How can he beat a guy like fucking Eric, but he loses to everybody he comes against in a WWE ring? But in a real life shoot fight, he can take this big man down. Dolph Ziggler's getting a better career in the Underground than he's ever had in the WWE ever. No wonder these guys are all behind it. They're actually getting pushed. They're actually getting wins. And then he's going to go back to the ring and he's going to get his ass beat. He's going to lose to a guy like Otis. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. The fucking Underground cannot die soon enough. It's just the biggest waste of time. And if that stupid segment and that whole Shane McMahon idea is the reason why we're getting 3-minute matches for almost everybody else, you need to eliminate it immediately. Nothing of importance happened on the Underground tonight. Nothing. You could say it again for me, Will.
Nothing! You've got nothing! Nothing!
Nothing. Nothing. It is completely and utterly worthless. Just like how they booked Shayna Baszler earlier in the night. We had Sasha and Bayley coming out doing their Sasha and Bayley thing. Why they have to have a promo on every show and why they can't just come out and wrestle a match once in a while, I'll never know. But they're in a tag team match against Shayna Baszler and Asuka, most of which Shayna Baszler wasn't even a part of because Nia Jax got involved. Why? I don't know. I thought she was gone. I was hoping she wasn't going to come back. But this is what they got for Baszler. They got Nia Jax. While Bayley and Sasha both are going to be fighting Asuka at SummerSlam, which is a whole nother bad decision that we talked about last week and we're not going to get into again. And before we go down the card, really quick, we had another Riot Squad versus Iconics match tonight. So, you know, make sure you tune in for that. I can't even get that out without laughing. Just the continued same shit week in and week out. Let's get through this crap. We're just going to talk about the matches. I'm not even going to talk about the excessive amount of talking we had to hear and the whining from Seth and the overacting from MVP and just the lack of charisma from everybody. Just completely worthless. Apollo Crews defeated Shelton Benjamin in a non-title match because, you know, R-Truth and Akira Tozawa and the Ninjas had to come out. You know, and that's why we ended up getting the 6-man booked. for later in the evening. Angel Garza is fighting Ivar because of that bachelor broad. The tiny little 12-year-old looking lady that nobody knows, not one wrestling fan gives two shits about, and she's had more time on wrestling TV, more time on WWE TV than Kevin Owens. And you're going to tell me that's okay? I don't even know who she is. If I didn't read who she was in these sheets, I wouldn't know who she is. I don't watch The Bachelor. I don't care. My God. See, there's so much wrong with that I block some of this shit out before I even come and sit here, and then I gotta remember it when I'm talking to you because I have to read it from this thing. Awful. Natalya defeated Mickie James via countout in 3 minutes. It was a 3-minute long match, and you know how much we've seen of it? About 10 seconds. Because for 2.5 minutes of that match, Seth Rollins came out to yell at Samoa Joe, talking about Dominic and Ray and the fuck out of here. There was only 10 minutes of wrestling in the whole entire first hour of the show. Do you realize there's 180 minutes in Monday Night Raw? And for only 40 of those minutes was there wrestling. Not good wrestling for the most of it either. How is anybody going to get over? I don't understand. You can't get people over if you're going to have them losing in 3 minutes. Mickie James lost in 3 minutes. She's the legend in the scenario. I know Natalya came in right behind her. They may be almost on an equal playing field. So don't you think you would want to have somebody like Mickie James showing the girls of this generation that I still got it, that I can whip ass, that yous ain't shit, so that when somebody actually finally does beat her, it actually means something? But now you got her losing to Natalya right out of the gate. Who cares who beats Mickie James at this point? What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything, and it should mean something. But they don't know how to make things mean anything anymore. Asuka and Shayna Baszler defeated Bayley and Sasha because reasons. This match shouldn't even be taking place. There's no need for this. Just another reason to put Asuka and Bayley in the same ring together and Asuka and Sasha in the same ring. Why? They needed to practice for Sunday? I don't understand. And what's Shayna Baszler's involvement in this? They keep talking about Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane's being mentioned more now than she was when she was part of the roster. It's just absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. Oh, but we got to see Titus O'Neil. We got to see him in the back. Wasn't that great? He won some fucking award again. You know, he's a great guy, great human being. He wins all these awards I've never heard of. And I'll probably never be up for. But do we need to take time away from the show to tell everybody, oh, Titus won some award somewhere? How about Titus win a world championship or something before you think we give a shit? We barely cared about him ever since you broke up the primetime players. Nobody gave two shits about Titus O'Neil, but now we got to hear he's Father of the Year, he's winning Humanitarian of the Year, he's winning Catering Hall Manager of the Year. Just fucking ridiculous. Shawn Michaels gave Drew McIntyre a pep talk. He sat there combing out his beard with his little NXT hat, telling Drew McIntyre that he's the man. Great, we all know Drew McIntyre is the man. Fantastic. Because Drew McIntyre feels like he let everybody down because Randy Orton's beating everybody up on his watch. What? The champion shouldn't give a shit about anybody else. He's the champion. You got people like Seth Rollins walking around saying, oh, that's my ring. This person said, oh, that's my ring. This is my ring. Get out of my ring. Only the champion should be able to make claim to the ring actually being his. Unless you're like The Undertaker or something like that. Andre the Giant. You know, it's their ring. Not your ring, Seth Rollins. Peyton Royce with Billie Kay defeated Ruby Riott with Liv Morgan in less than 3 minutes. Was it worth it? Was it good for you? Because it wasn't for me. Ruby Riott deserves better than this. She's just got a couple of wins under her belt. And now she's just giving those wins right back to Peyton Royce after she single-handedly put them both in their place. And now she's losing. Who cares? If we keep going back and forth with the wins, nobody builds momentum. Do you want to see another Riot Squad Iconics interaction? Oh, this is certainly shaping up to be a rivalry. Get out of here, Todd Phillips, whatever the fuck your name is, I don't care. Then we had the Raw Underground kickoff, and I turned away. Raw became background noise. I didn't really watch. I just was listening as Dolph Ziggler made a fool out of the Viking Raider Warrior Raiders Eric, and then got tackled by Ivar and sent flying into the crowd. Nobody's wearing masks anymore in the Underground. I guess it's, pandemic free. Certified by the big gigantic guy at the front door. I guess he's blocking the COVID from coming in. The Rey Mysterio Dominic segment, we talked about Seth Rollins coming out. Rey Mysterio was talking and getting very emotional, saying how he wants to he will always protect his son. He will always do what he has to do to protect his family. He's very proud of his son. His son was very brave. All of these things, great. Absolutely agree with the guy 100%. And then Seth Rollins comes down, they spring their little trap, and they didn't take his shirt off. And that's not anything... I'm not trying to be funny, and it's not like I don't want to see Seth Rollins' disgusting hairy chest. It's just, that's what should have happened. They should have tied his hands with that shirt to the steel post and took turns just whipping his ass like a redheaded stepchild. No offense to any redheaded stepchildren out there. It's just a phrase. All right, take it easy. But that's that. We talked about it. We're not going to go too much more in depth on that. We went back to the Raw Underground to see Arturo Ruas, some guy that I've seen a few times on NXT, versus Riddick Moss. So now, even on the Underground, we are just seeing the same 5 or 6 fucking people go in there and pretend to play UFC. Get it off my screen. Get it off my wrestling show. It's gross. 6-man tag elimination match. We talked about this. Here are the actual stats, and this is coming from F4W Online's results page here. Let's go down. Lashley eliminated Ali by pinfall in 1 minute and 35 seconds with the Dominator. Shelton Benjamin then eliminated Ricochet only moments later, barely 40 seconds later. 40 seconds! Which means Ricochet got in the ring, took a move, and was pinned. Does Ricochet, did he lose all of his strength? Does MVP have some sort of fucking kryptonite that stops the little guys from doing flips? I don't understand. Did he take his agility away? Did he roll a magic dice when he was playing Dungeons and Dragons in the back in the catering hall with the rest of the guys? And did he put some sort of a magic spell on Ali and Ricochet to take their wrestling abilities away? Their stats down? What happened? How is this happening? Absolutely ridiculous. The rest of the match was MVP working over Apollo Crews, and then we almost got to 10 minutes, and then Lashley ended up getting Apollo Crews in the full Nelson. It's a full Nelson. It's not a full Lashley. The full Lashley is in the Milk Duds pants, and nobody wants to see or think about that. Except maybe Lana. The full Lashley. Fuck out of it. It's a full Nelson. All of a sudden they're going to call it the full Lashley like they've been calling it that the whole time. Like it was never known as anything else. No explanation or anything. Or MVP's decided to call it the full Lashley. Nothing. It's just, now it's just the full Lashley like he's always known. Ridiculous. Then we see Shayna Baszler with her 2 cronies from the 4 Horsewomen of MMA standing in the back talking to Shane McMahon. Now you already know where this is going. Shayna's little cronies want to play in the Underground because Shayna got to play in the Underground. They're making it more edgy. These are actual MMA girls. So that makes it legit now, right? Wrong. Absolutely worthless. Cedric Alexander defeated Akira Tozawa to retain the 24/7 championship that he earlier won from him during the first encounter in the night, only to get sneak attacked from behind by Shelton Benjamin, hit him with a pay dirt in the dark, and got his title back. Good for you, bro. You lost 3 times tonight, and now you're walking around with a meaningless belt. Great job. You're a star. I was hoping for so much more for Shelton Benjamin when he came back. This guy's a former Intercontinental Champion. Multiple-time World Tag Team Champion. Definitely worth his weight. Guy can work. He's been so good. He's been in so many Money in the Bank moments and things of that nature. But now he's pretty much just like Ali and Cedric and the rest of them. He's got just as much time in this industry as MVP. Why does MVP get the push, but Shelton Benjamin can't? Can you explain that one? Because I can't. Back in the underground, Marina Shafir beat some nobody chick. Didn't even have a name. Shane McMahon was calling her red while he was sweating all over her. Then Nia Jax came out of nowhere and knocked her down. They had the face-to-face. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Everybody's getting all hype. Oh my God, it's going to be the greatest fight in underground history. And then Nia Jax bails. She took off before anything can happen. So I guess Shayna Baszler won, I assume. Who cares? Montez Ford showed up after being poisoned, all happy and shit to be back at work, to take on Andrade with Zelina Vega and Angel Garza, of course, in tow. And then Bianca Belair would show up finally. Apparently she didn't care about the video footage. She didn't come out and beat Zelina Vega's ass. She wasn't hunting her down tonight. She went and hunted her down at her own house, which they still didn't make mention of on television. She got beat the hell up in her own home by Bianca Belair. But tonight, Bianca Belair was cool. She's just sitting in the back, hanging out with the boys. Nobody's angry about this. I don't understand why. She was pissed off about it before, but tonight nobody's mad. Dawkins is smiling and laughing and happy and flirting with the little blonde girl who looks like she should be going to preschool next week. Montez comes out for this match, happy, dancing. I wasn't just fucking poisoned and nearly murdered. And then Bianca Belair comes out, hits one move on Zelina Vega. Great, we're supposed to give a shit. Then Shawn Michaels hits the ring, cuts standard Shawn Michaels promo, got a little emotional talking about Ric Flair and how he talked about his 31 days on his deathbed. And you always get invested when Shawn speaks because he's a good speaker. He's from the old school. He could speak. And then Randy Orton comes out of nowhere. You think Shawn Michaels was going to make it out of there. But no entrance music, no bullshit, just out of nowhere, boom, RKO. So I was like, great, okay, so we'll finally have one decent moment here. It's probably going to end much like last week with Shawn Michaels face down in the mat, Randy Orton celebrating as the Legend Killer at the end. But that's not what we got. That's technically not what we got. We got Drew McIntyre coming out to make the save. We got Shawn Michaels making it look like he didn't even get punt kicked to the head. He was moving almost immediately after he took it, too. Crawling towards the rope, sitting up, getting up on his feet, talking to Drew McIntyre when you should be out cold, selling the most deadliest kick in pro wrestling. I don't understand that at all. I expect much more from a guy like Shawn Michaels. He should have known to just lay there and let Drew come out and lay over his dead body and then go for some revenge, and then you could have Randy Orton hit Drew with the RKO, threaten to give him a punt kick, but then Drew maybe rolls out or something, I don't know, or he teases it and doesn't really pull the trigger and he says, wait till SummerSlam. How come I can think of all this shit, but they can't? This was a absolutely worthless episode of Monday Night Raw, a terrible go-home show from start to finish, worthy of every single segment up on
You've got
screen.
nothing!
But yeah, nothing at all. I wanted this screen. Only poop hammers tonight. Every single rotten segment. And I am not looking forward to going inside the Blunderdome this Friday. It's going to look cool. They're going to have different camera angles. They're going to have lasers. Like they've never had lasers before. Triple H used to come out in the laser beam grid. Why is that so special? We'll find out this Friday, as they have one last chance to get you truly excited for Sunday's biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam, DummerSlam. There's only one match on that card that I have any interest in seeing, and that's Sonya versus Mandy's hair versus hair match. And on a more serious note, before we sign off, most of you guys probably heard about what happened to Sonya Deville over the weekend, and that's really just got me angry. Because I understand fandom. You know, I have my favorites. I don't like Seth Rollins' character on television, just like I don't like the Nia Jax character on television, but that doesn't mean I don't respect them as people, because they're not actually those characters. They're a person outside of that. And when you as a fan step that boundary and go to the lengths of attempted kidnapping, it's hard to even process, right? This psycho fan tried to kidnap Sonya Deville this weekend. Thanks to her alarm and her local police department, that was not the case, and she was able to avoid any real incident. But her house was broken into. She escaped without harm, but the man's intent was real. And it's scary. It's frightening. And I don't wish anything like that on any of these guys. I criticize their TV show and the characters that they play, but I would never, ever even think, I wouldn't think about thinking about something as heinous and stupid and unnecessary as that. I can't imagine being Sonya right now, and my heart goes out to her, and I feel for her tremendously. Because imagine, like, just having to sit there and think, like, what the fuck was he going to do? He had zip ties and duct tape. Like, what are you, fucking watching Dexter and taking notes? Bro, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What were you going to do? It's terrible. That shit is terrible. And I felt really bad. And I wanted to reach out to her. And I did so on Twitter, but, you know, nobody fucking sees me on Twitter. It's like I don't exist. Everybody else talks to each other, and they all focus on all the negative, but if you say something nice, you know, nobody gives a shit about what you have to say. Anyway, that little side note, and also we have to say goodbye to Xavier. Xavier was the first ever Ring of Honor champion. He was well known in the wrestling circle. A lot of my personal friends from House of Glory known him for a very long time, and he passed away not unknowingly, unexpectedly this weekend. And of course our hearts and prayers go out to everybody grieving for him, especially his family, and of course all of his friends and mine as well, which you guys are. Now that that's done, let's close out this show so we could be finished. Thank you guys all so very much for 4 years of craziness on this channel. We kick off year number 5 with our review of the Thunderdome this Friday, right here on Sledgehammer TV. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team. Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball, the most important member of the team, as always, each and every one of you who have made these last 4 years tolerable. Because if not for you guys, I swear to God, I wouldn't even be watching this shit anymore. But it's fun for me to sit here and get it out and talk to the coolest, newest faction in the entire internet wrestling community, my sledgeheads of Sledgehammer TV. Don't forget to check out anything you may have missed, including the SmackDown review, the Extreme Rules review, and everything else. And make sure you are subscribed to this channel so that you don't miss everything we have to say with this upcoming SummerSlam weekend and our trip to the Blunderdome. Make sure you stay subscribed and notified so you don't miss a thing. And then hit the like button if you enjoyed today's show, and share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they need to understand everything wrong with Monday Night Raw. That, my friends, is going to do it. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com.